Hello, once again, another day of non-stop streams here for IndieX. After an amazing stream just now, we're going to keep following the action. For you today, I have Trifox, which is a lovely game about foxes, as you could just seen in the trailer. And with me is I'm going to mispronounce your name, but I'll try. Brecht, I think.
Yeah, oh, that's super close. That's super well
Okay.
pronounced.
I
Yeah,
practiced it in the last 10
yeah.
seconds in my head, but saying it out loud is always different.
No, awesome job.
Welcome.
Awesome job. Well done.
Can you tell us a bit about your company first before we delve into Trifox?
Yeah, sure. So we're Glowfish Interactive. We're a super tiny studio based in Belgium. We're only 3 people, and we just released our first game, Trifox.
Oh,
That's like
cool. When you said super tiny, I was thinking of like 20 to 10, but
no. We're only 3. So we're only 3, and along the way we had some help of interns and stuff like that. But the core team is only 3 people, and then it's extended with like the audio is done by someone else as well. So there's 2 people that helped us out with the audio, but the core team was only 3 people.
and what would be the roles of the core team? Or everybody's a jack of all trades, or do you have more
Yeah,
specialized?
no, we're 3 generalists, but we do kind of specialize somewhat. I mainly did a lot of programming and level stuff, and my colleague did mainly character stuff and like the pathfinding and AI stuff. And then my other colleague was also level and game content stuff. And
Okay,
then and
but
then art was spread across all 3 of us as well.
okay, so if I find some issue, you can pass the blame to somebody else without looking suspicious.
Yeah, chances are it's probably all of us. Like it's the fault of all 3 of us.
And is Trifox the first product of your company? Was it created for Trifox, or was Trifox created for the company?
So Trifox was the first game that we made ourselves. Like it's our own IP, our own idea, our own everything. Before that, we did work with some other studios as contract work and to get the bills paid. But it's the first one that is fully our own um, from the start.
Okay, but did you had the idea for Trifox and convinced everybody to create the company, or you created the
No,
company and then
yeah,
think we
yeah,
need to do something?
we first had the company and already had like some things lined up that we were working for some different studios and helping them out. And along the way, we were all like our goal was always to be able to make our own games. So that's kind of what came out of that while we were doing um, the other stuff for other studios.
Oh, that's amazing. I think we can jump a bit to the to show you the screen of Trifox while we keep the conversation. Blind pitch for Trifox. If you had to sell our viewers the game or tell the idea of the game without them having seen it, how would you describe it?
Usually, how we describe it is, what if a game like Crash Bandicoot was a twin stick shooter? That's kind of very high level how you can think of it. So it's inspired by those classic platformers, and from the late 90s, early 2000s, but it's a different genre. It's more twin stick shooter, more combat oriented, but still capturing that vibe and that feel that you had with those classic platformers. That's kind of the high level pitch that I
Mhm.
think best describes it really quick.
I can see you practiced it. You got it 2 seconds. You already had the perfect description.
Yeah, we each have each developer has like its own little variation of that line, but it's to me that's kind of the thing that I always checked against. Like, okay, are we within this this vibe? Are we capturing the spirit of those kind of games, but still, doing our own thing and giving our own spin without being like a hardcore platformer.
And where did the idea for the game come from?
It actually evolved over time. It started out more like traditional high fantasy, like with a little. We always had the art style, like the colorful art style, but it started out a little bit more with a high fantasy thing, with like little wizards that ran around and you could control the different elements, water and fire and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of grew over time, um, as we explored gameplay ideas, and then we switched it to these anthropomorphic characters and kind of went from there. So it's a very organic process, actually.
And the question on everybody's mind right now: why foxes?
Um, good question. That's actually that's a question that we don't really have the answer for. It kind of just evolved like that. We had like a whole bunch. We had like a whole bunch of different creatures and like species, and that one just stood out. I guess one that we liked that we could do a bunch of things with our little backpack and all that stuff. So it was the one that worked best at that time.
You kind of woke up one day and the game was already about foxes.
Yeah, no, it kind of so we first had, like I mentioned, we first had like a little wizard, right? So we had this little wizard, and then when we switched, we had like a whole set. I think we had 7 different like races, and originally the game was also a little bit different. We were going to have a lot more NPC characters, but we had to let that go. And yeah, the fox came out as the one that the player would play with.
And is this the product that we are seeing right now? How different is it from what you envisioned? Is it very similar to what the team planned, or you had to make changes along the way that made the game
It's
completely
we
different?
always had a pretty good idea in what direction we wanted to go with. I think that probably changed the most is there was a lot at the beginning. There was a lot less of the extra things in there, like the tiny puzzles and more the exploration element and those things. It started out more as a just arena shooter where you just were running in arenas fighting enemies, and then we added a lot more elements to the sauce to kind of give a little bit more variation for the player to mix things up and to create these more interesting setups for you to play around in.
Here we have the three main classes. Can you describe a bit about what do they change in the game, or how they are tied
Yeah,
with the whole mechanic of the gameplay?
yeah. So basically in Trifox, you can choose between these 3 different playstyles, right? Like so, the first one, the one that you have on the left here, is the warrior, and he's mainly focused on, you know, getting close and personal. He has like this big hammer, and you smash the enemies up close. Then the second one is the mage, and he's more focused on ranged attacks, more mystical attacks. You know, like he can, for example, he has like these projectiles that the first projectile that hits, all the other projectiles will follow that one. He has like these piercing shots and all that kind of thing. So more ranged combat. And then finally we have the engineer, and the engineer is for the people who like to use gadgets and place turrets and all these kind of things, kind
You
of do the
just
dirt.
described me.
Yeah, so the basically have other stuff to do dirty work for you. And they each have their own unique movement ability as well. As you can see now, the engineer has like his little helicopter pack that you can use to fly around with. The mage can like blink, it's like kind of like teleport, and then the warrior has like this dash that also lets him instantly sprint, right? Um, and so within these 3 different playstyles, we have like 30 completely unique abilities that you can then unlock. And where it gets really interesting is you can actually mix and match them. So we don't force you down a specific path, because usually, in these kind of games, at the beginning of the game,
Mhm.
you select one of the archetypes. You have no idea what the archetype is going to be and if it's going to be for you.
Exactly.
You start playing, and okay, I'm stuck with that. And then maybe I'll play it again. Start a new game when I'm finished, and then play with the other one. But in practice, that rarely happens.
Yeah, I was
So
going to completely mention that in some games, like you, even though you might be informed about what they do, you're locked in the choice. And here, if I just go back, I can change characters or the
yeah,
ability already, right?
yeah, and probably not here in the demo because we locked the door behind you. Haha. but
Ah,
but as soon as you're like enter the main body of the game, then you'll be able to use these coins that you find around the levels to actually unlock new abilities. And then as soon as you have them unlocked, you can basically assign them
no.
to any of the buttons, and then you can mix and match, and your outfit will also adjust. And then again, it gets really interesting because then you can create these combinations of turrets and like these black holes that suck all the enemies to that black hole, and then you can have the enemy stuck there while the turrets take care of it.
I'm doing a bunch of random bad stuff so
Ooh.
that people understand the possibilities. It's not on purpose. So I need.
What is this?
I'm being so stupid. I need to get the damn this.
The power cell.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gradually introduce like the different mechanics.
Yeah. I was trying to break the wooden walls with by throwing the power
You
cell.
could do that in the past, but we want players to to go through this thing, and so yeah, and you can always assign. So all our loadout stuff is all in world, so it's all diagenic. So you can actually you see it on the monitor in world, and then you press the button that you want to assign it to.
Yeah, the keybinds are part of gameplay, which is cool. You don't need to go to the
Yeah,
settings
yeah,
to
yeah.
change
You
them.
don't go into a menu. We try to keep you as much as possible within the game, and only have like menus when you're loading the different levels, and if you want to go back to the main menu.
So, what would be a very too long didn't read summary of the story?
The story. So basically, we didn't. We just saw the intro cinematic. So basically, what happens is, you were enjoying a peaceful day, watching your television, and all of a sudden, your little house gets raided, and these strange figures they basically steal your power generator, and most importantly, they also steal your TV remote. So basically, it starts out as with you trying to get your TV remote back, so you can enjoy your peaceful home again. But
Everybody
as
can relate to that.
yeah, it's very very up to date. And so what starts out as this quest to get your TV remote back, gradually reveals that there's like more going on um, within the
Like
world.
who never had the experience of being of being having his house broken and then
Where's
realized
my
no, they
TV
took
remote?
the remote. Yes,
No. Yeah,
exactly.
but more importantly, they also stole his power generator and basically all the technology stuff that he had. So like
But
we
but
need
the
to get it
remote
back.
is the
That's
important part.
yeah. And there's like
Yeah,
little hints in there of what the remote is being used for as well.
we
It's
have
very
people in the
subtle.
chat asking what platforms is the game available.
So at the moment, you can get it on PC, on Steam, Epic, GOG. You can also get it on Xbox and Xbox Series X. You can also get it on Switch, and soon it'll also be on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So the whole range.
Oh, that's nice. But it's usually the ports that take longer are the Switch ones, and the PlayStation sometimes
Yeah,
comes bundled. Is this was this a choice, a Nintendo decision, or just so happened along the way?
it so happened. We worked together with the publisher as well. We did some of the porting, and then some other people did other porting, and it just turned out the way it turned out. So yeah, that was just out of our hands, unfortunately. But it's coming. Just a little bit of a delay. And
And
like
this is
same for the Switch as well. So the Switch is out, but there's like this big patch coming. It's kind of frustrating because we had the patch ready before release, and it changes so much. It makes the game so much better on the Switch. So, but it's coming very very soon. We're waiting on Nintendo for that.
and this is
Sometimes we don't know.
another
Yeah,
neat part of the way that you was it an active worry that you had within the team of instead of having interfaces and pop-ups, even the perk selection screen is not a screen, it's part of the game. Was this active decision, or you just
yeah.
stumbled upon it?
Well, it was kind of we wanted to keep the player as much in the game as possible and avoid having these pop-ups. The only time when you have the pop-ups is in the beginning, the tutorial, and in this area when you first enter it, and that's just to make sure because people were otherwise just missing what's going on. So just to make sure that hey, this is what's happening, and then we don't do any pop-ups and try to just keep it in world, keep it fluent. Like the advantage of this as well is that you can just run around, right, and you can try it and you can change your loadout just running over it really quickly without taking you out of the flow. And I think that's the main thing. That was the main thing. You didn't want didn't want to pull you out of the flow of the game and just keep you immersed in the world. And
Yeah. So, for example, with this choice, I can keep the innate ability of the warrior while using the ranged
Yep.
abilities of the engineer.
Yep. Yep. So now you have like your little dash, and that also activates your sprint instantly. So you instantly start sprinting, and you also have your little Gatling gun from the engineer.
So should I go to this one, or is this where I come from? I come from
No,
zero.
no. Yeah, you came from the middle.
Okay.
You were like dumped in this area, and then here you can actually go to. And if you ever played a game like Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3, then this hub world structure should feel very familiar to you. With the portals and
How
whatnot.
wacky do the powers get by the end game?
Um, there are some really powerful ones. There are some really powerful ones. Yeah. There's this one where you basically just clear the screen and it just all the enemies that are on screen like you just zoom around and just destroy them.
And one question that I always get in my mind to ask game developers: is there like a higher voice or something that when you create a company tells you your character can't swim?
It's just I think it's more a technical reason. It's like should we add swimming, and then it like complicates a lot of things. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a natural border of the environment.
yeah, because it always seems that no character can swim, and so probably nobody thinks that that it comes from technical reasons, like using the water to be a
I
boundary
mean,
of the map.
yeah. I mean, in our case, it's more for to make sure to kind of keep the player inside of the level without having, especially in this level, without having too much of the invisible walls. We don't like invisible walls. We want to avoid that. So it's more like a natural boundary to kind of keep you
But I do
within the
really like
confine.
this circle below me. Otherwise, these jumps would be very tough.
Yeah. We have some platforming in the game, but not too much. But it's to mix things up, right? We wanted to stay true and kind of give that feeling as well from, like I mentioned, from those classics. Plus, it gives you a lot of mobility because we also have verticality in the game. So
I want to pull this up.
because we didn't really want to have the typical, hey, it's a fixed camera just locked off and like then like a magical razor cut the level in half, right? We wanted to have these more real 3D environments that you run around in and feel immersed in.
Yeah, good. You mentioned the camera because since it's a twin stick shooter, you can't like I'm literally using both thumbs here to control the character and where I shoot you. So the camera needs to be fixed, right? There's
Yeah,
no
for that, yeah,
other way. So
for this
was it hard
type of
to get
gameplay, yeah.
the right view, the right camera angle?
It took yeah, we actually put a lot of effort in trying to get the camera as smooth as possible without so while keeping it somewhat cinematic as well, and without making it feel like I wish I could move the camera, right? So we always want to make sure that you have a good view of everything, that it doesn't feel like the camera is fighting against me. So we created a bunch of systems that we can create these like smooth blends and transitions based on where you are, to make sure that you always get a nice view of the action.
While okay, I got a puzzle here. While the I can't remember this one. I think.
There's multiple, so that's also because we give you so much mobility, and also with the abilities there's like a bunch of solutions to this one.
Can I climb this rope, or is just?
And the fox can't climb.
Yeah, they can't swim. They can't climb.
No, they can't climb, they can't swim.
No wonder they
For the
were
rest,
stuck in
for the
in
rest
his
they can
for so
do
long.
a lot of things, but they can't swim and they can't climb. That's the only thing.
So, wait. I don't remember this. Okay, I got it.
Ah.
Yeah, I need to. Okay, I can. Okay, I got it. I need to. So, but I needed to have this here. I think I'm still in time.
Not sure.
Doesn't it load down? I thought it would lower.
No, so you have these two. So you have these two lines going through it. So you need
Yeah.
to go to them.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can.
Not sure if you'll be able
It's
to jump
too
high enough just
high.
yet.
Okay. Yeah. I need to take it out
No,
for a bit.
not as the warrior. Not yet. So
Is
you
it getting lowered now? Maybe.
want to stand on. So there's two buttons, right? And they activate these lines. So
Okay.
you power up the things, but the second one has two lines going to it. So you need to power
Yeah.
up them at the same time.
I don't know if I can make this jump like this. Oh, well,
I'm not sure if
but
it will work with the
well,
warrior, but you can try. If you
I
like,
want to try with the dash. Maybe I get enough.
yeah, maybe
Oh, I can't even jump to the third one. So
you can
oh, what?
just take your time.
What?
Perhaps get a little bit lower.
Yeah, probably, but I
Just
think
barely.
okay.
Oh, you did.
Two.
Ooh,
Oh, there you
oh,
go.
oh,
Ah, I
oh,
told you.
nice.
Is there any way to? Since it's a 3D game, but I'm aiming in 2D. Is there any way for me to, in later parts of the game, or maybe now and I haven't realized it, to shoot vertically, aim
Um,
up or down?
it'll. So we have auto aim for that. So basically, if there's targets in front of you, it'll look at. So it'll look at where you're aiming and then see, okay, is there a target in line of sight, and then it'll automatically aim up and down to the closest one in the direction that. So we help you with that. Kind of work around it with the fact that we have that verticality, but still have the twin stick aspect there. With mouse and keyboards, you have a little bit more direct control, right? But behind the scenes, it all works the same. So it's the same behavior.
For this one, should I have brought the thing from the other room, or is that in front?
That's only for the secret. Yeah. If you go down here, so if you want to get the secret, then you need to like figure out the puzzle and take the head with you.
Ah. So, how long would take an average player to complete the game?
On average, we've seen that for most people, it's between 5 and 6 hours. If like the first time going through it, and an average player, we've seen people do it faster. We've seen people do it longer, but that's kind of where we guess the middle line lies.
And what is the retail price for the game?
So at the moment, it's 19.99 euros.
Which is
And I
very
think
good.
and regional equivalents.
Yeah, but I think it's very good for the price. If it has 6 hours of good content, is better than 30 hours of repeating content, which is
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make it. I have a kid as well, and I don't always have like an insane amount of time to play video games. So we want to make sure that people can actually finish the game, have fun with it, and then experiment with the different abilities. And hey, I want to try the different abilities. Oh, I don't need to make a new save file. I can just keep playing with save file and experiment. And you can always return to the levels and find some secrets and whatnot. So we wanted to make it accessible as well.
Do you find that people used to prefer one character over another, or are all three classes equally selected?
So it's been super funny to see because people get really intense on which one is better than the other. But we've had all of them. So I have people like, oh, the warrior sucks, and then other people like, oh, the warrior is overpowered and super awesome, and same for like each of the different styles. So for us, that means that we probably did a good job. We just interpret it like that, right? If people can't agree, then it means that the different playstyles actually cater to the different type of players, or like the combinations that they can do, and just preferences. Like personally, I really like the engineer because I like placing the turrets and the little structures and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm the same. In games, the further away I can be from my opponents, better.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're like this combat engineer, so you can get really aggressive because if you place down, for example, the turret, you can drop it on an enemy's head and then like squash him. You can get some reward from that as well.
And you were mentioning a secret that I obviously missed throughout the level.
Yeah. You actually missed 3 of them. I know 2 of them. Yeah, 2 of them. So yeah, that's basically a reason to go back and replay the levels and kind of see if you can.
Yeah, but you locked the door behind me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I could say you sneaky fox because there's fox in the game. Let's get to the next level. There's another question in the audience. Do you have new content coming for the game, or did you already move to the next project?
So at the moment we're supporting. We're doing some fixes based on player feedback. We have a speedrunning contest going on as well, and those guys, the things that they find and the things that they do with your game is It's amazing. But we're kind of updating, and then we'll see. It'll all depend. We would like to add additional content, but it'll all depend on how well the game does, really. To be honest, but we have ideas for more content. There's a bunch of stuff that we would like to do. But yeah, it'll depend if there's demand for it.
So, do you find that speedrunners tend to abuse bugs that you had no idea were there, or was it how good
So
they were?
it's the creativity that they have with the abilities. So if you go to the loadout room, I think you have enough coins. I think you can buy the turret if you want to. The engineer turret. Yeah, see, there's like a little shopping thing. It's the second one.
Exactly.
That's the one next to it, the one with the shopping.
This?
Yeah, the one next to it. Yeah, that one is available. So that's the turret.
Okay, so I'll
I think
get
you have enough coins.
this one.
And then
Awesome,
you can assign it.
I can now make it like this.
Yes. And if you go to like the little dummies on the side, you have like these two teleporters on the left and the right.
It's for the training room.
Yeah. So it's like you have like this little training room where you can, test your loadout. So with the turrets, you can actually also place them on the walls. So you have a lot of freedom with them. So if you place them on a wall, for example, some of the enemies can't reach them, right? Because they're a little bit higher, but then their range is limited. But as you can see,
use them to jump, which is amazing.
Yeah, and you can take some shortcuts. You can reach certain places that might be a little bit tricky to reach. And so the speedrunners have been really abusing this stuff, and finding these holes that we never thought, like, oh shit, how did you get there?
This was an option that you intended to be used, but not as much.
Well, I mean, we all, so while we were developing it, we even in just in like these gray development boxes, it was always super fun to just mess around with these things and being able to place them on the wall. So we feel like, why not let people do it? It's fun. You can mess around with it. You can experiment with it. So you can like all the structures you can place on the walls, like the mines and stuff as well. And we even we have like these little laser nodes, and you can create like little laser grids. So if you place them against the walls, then you create like this little laser fence. If enemies move through it, the more you have connected, the more damage it does. So
I like this turret.
Embraced it. Wilson.
Exactly. I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, we have a bunch of references in there in the game. Later on in the game, we also have a section that's like on this rail. It's like this track, little turret that you then shoot at all the enemies that try to come after you. And actually, the first section of that rail segment is we mirrored it to the train track layout of Indiana Jones, like the Doom. It actually matches the way that only the first section though, but like it matches the way that the track was laid out.
Oh, that's
there's like very, very, very deep little Easter eggs in there. No one will notice.
You're in your development room thinking nobody will ever notice this, but we're going to ship
There's
it
gonna
anyway.
be this one die-hard Indiana Jones fan that'll be like, "Hey, I recognize this." So.
And did you get many changes into the game due to feedback from the community and playtesters, or it wasn't needed?
Yeah, so I mean, each time we had people play the game at an event, or we also had a beta, we always asked for feedback and then collected everything and evaluated every piece of feedback that we got. And a lot of things did actually get changed based on that. And even now that the game is available, there's a lot of stuff that again, we're a very small team and we can play test it and do QA and all that kind of stuff, but it's nothing compared to having more people play the game. So we try to listen as much as possible and tweak within what is possible, especially in like balance and making the game fair. Sometimes we tend to make it a little bit too difficult because we're so used to it, right? So that's always hard, especially during playtesting. People played it. We always had the extremes, like people finding it way too easy and people finding it way too difficult. So trying to find a balance of where's the line where it is fun for everyone.
And how long would you say the game took to be available from start to finish?
From like in real world time, since we first started on the project, it's been a very long time. I think it's been 8 years, but we haven't been working on it full time, right? So like the first, like the prototype idea was 8 years ago, and then over time, like I mentioned, we were doing other like working with other studios, helping them out with other projects, and we had the prototype, and then it evolved, and like each time it was in chunks, and only the last I think 2 years and a half we've been able to work on it full time to get it finished.
I want to finish this game with Wilson, but these guys are not letting me.
Oh yeah.
Oh come on, just wait over
We-
there, Wilson. I'll be back in a second.
It's been fun. It's been fun getting like the screenshots from people who actually took them with them throughout the entire level.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I think, but I do think if you die, that he'll actually reset the creature and you'll be lost. But
Oh no!
you can't die. You need to take it with you without dying.
It's a challenge accepted.
There might also be an achievement with that, and there might be two ways to do it. There might be a very easy one. There might be a more difficult one to get that achievement.
I hope I'm not going into the more difficult one.
Yeah, you are.
Oh no!
That's fine.
I should have gone to the other side, right?
Oh no. You still need to go there. They blew up the door, so you're stuck now. Aha.
Oh no!
This is like our little Zelda pot room. You have frustrations against bots, you can smash all the bots.
The visuals are really, really cool with the contrast of the light with the stones. Let me put my.
Money.
How many can I add?
3.
3 is a lot. Don't you find this power to be? Is this on par with the other starter powers, the turret, since you can drop 3 and just passively?
Yeah, because they have they have a lifetime, and the enemies will attack them as well. So they're actually they're useful, but they are also they're restricted in their location, right? So it's yeah, and we usually send enough enemies at you to kind of deal with that as well. So we find that it hasn't been that much of an issue. And we also, especially in this section, you have all these bomb lobbers, which are like they are gonna target those things and just hit them with those grenades and just obliterate turrets. So we always try to have a mix of enemies so that that kind of balances out a little bit.
Can you? How pacifist can you be in this game? Like I can ignore these eventually, but there's a lot of stuff that gets triggered after all the
Yeah.
enemies.
So
are killed.
that's kind of part of it being the twin stick shooter part, the twin stick game, is that yeah, we have a lot of focus on combat, and we have a lot of focus on the players just experimenting with the different abilities and the loadouts to kind of create like these really powerful combinations. And
I was
again,
trying to win this with my hands crossed, but
you can. I usually do it like I always try. If I play with the engineer, I usually just let them do the work, and then put myself there. And especially in this first section, I think it's fairly easy to do. The second part of this fight, it might be a little bit trickier to do what you're doing.
Yeah, I eventually need to deploy the sentries again, but
Yeah.
I think I like this. Like some people might be thinking, why is this guy just passively beating the game? It's much more fun to have the warrior or the wizard.
But
I think there's a thing for everyone, right?
yeah. That's on depends on what you like to do. And because we also have like this one of the upgrades is you can deploy like these little robots that actually heal your structures. So they don't attack or do anything. They're solely focused on keeping your structures alive within a certain area. So then you can also, if you really want to go, I want to go full structures. I don't want to do any of the direct combat. You can totally do that and just set that up.
Tower defense.
Yeah. But you still kind of need to like move around and kind of make sure that you don't get caught off guard, because it can is because this is early on in the game, right? It's the second level, but it can get quite dicey. And now we're going into the speedrunner tactics, trying to jump.
Yeah, it's did people jump here? I think it would
Potentially, yeah. But I don't
maybe
think.
work. I was
Yeah.
trying, but the developers thought of this already.
Oh yeah, of this one we did. Although I think they did find like a crazy skip.
Somebody asked if you can put Wilson on the tile.
Yes. On which side? On the one that explodes and like the crabs? Yeah, you can.
I think yes.
Perhaps you can even throw Wilson into the pit. Maybe.
Oh, poor Wilson. I'll throw them to the crib.
Yeah, sacrifice him to the crab.
Oh, Wilson, it was good, but I have the literal creator of this world asking. Oh, can I bait them? Oh, poor Will, I got an achievement.
Hey!
Poor Wilson, he died for my Steam completionist. I thought.
There you go. So yeah, so these range dudes, they don't like your structures.
Yeah,
So,
they overpower
yeah,
them quite fast.
yeah, they have. They have a bigger range than your turret. So yeah, they
Not if I drop them on their face.
yeah. Especially with the crabs, right? If you hit them like this nice crunchy, like
Exactly.
it's crunchy, like squished in.
The sound is also super cool. So, let's see. I like this playstyle. Your favorite is also the engineer. Does that go with for the rest of the team, or you have?
No, I think it kind of it's kind of spread, and I think Jeroen, one of my colleagues, he preferred actually a hybrid of I think the engineer and the mage, if I recall correctly, and then my other colleague prefers the mage. So it's kind of mixed all around. And to be honest, I also prefer to mix it up. I usually take stuff from the mage and the engineer, and then depending on what I'm doing, I also mix in something from the warrior.
Oh, there's more. Oh,
Ah!
I was thinking this would go a lot easier.
No.
Expected.
No.
I need to actually pull my weight over here.
Yeah. You can also use your structures as walls, so you can hide behind them.
Well, I can sacrifice them like I did with Wilson.
There's also we also have an actual wall that's a lot stronger. You can kind of use that to really branch off areas for the enemy, so they kind of need to walk around it. And if you want to guide them more towards your turrets, you can actually do that.
So I'm kind of making these crab species go extinct because I want my remote controller.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's life. It happens.
I think you're trespassing on their little nesting ground.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen people in video games kill mobs for worse reasons.
Oh, good job.
There we go.
This was like a mini boss. It's like an end level boss.
I don't know if you saw its size, but mini wasn't the word I'd use to.
No.
I want to imagine the ones that are actual bosses.
Yeah.
Which is a level dedicated to them, right?
Yeah. We try to kind of stay true to like those bosses that have like their cycles, and you kind of learn the cycles. And they each have each of the world's bosses is have their unique mechanics that kind of need to work around.
I don't think we'll be able to reach the boss in the next 10 minutes.
No, I don't think so.
Can you describe one of the bosses to make it look cooler than it actually is?
So I'm going to describe the second world boss, which is in the second world there's these two little crazy villain guys that keep boycotting you. And you're in this gigantic factory, and the boss fight, you're basically in their control room, and they're constantly sending these mechs after you that shoot rockets after you, and then these little drones. And once you defeat those, basically they activate their trap mechanisms, and the entire room starts, activating, and there's electricity fields going off, and then in the second phase there's like laser fences going up, and in the third phase everything's spinning around, and you kind of need to get to the core and overload their power core to kind of defeat them, because you can't hit them directly, so you need to reach the core and overload it. That's one of the bosses.
And how many bosses there are in the game? That one looks.
That's 4.
Looks cool. 4. That's
4 bosses. Yeah.
one for
So
each
one
other
for
worlds,
each.
right? One,
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
3. I imagine it's the ice world. And the fourth one is this one. This door over here, conveniently turned off.
Nope. It's a secret.
This is a secret
But
room.
yeah,
Okay.
but there's a fourth. There's a fourth secret that I'm not gonna reveal yet.
And what is this room for?
So that's, to be completely honest, we had some additional plans for the game, and got to, but it's still there, so that if we ever have the opportunity to do so, that we can open up the door.
It's the not enough budget room.
It's the please buy our game room. so we can add what's behind that room.
That's a good room to have.
Yeah. Because we kind of left it in so that we have the room for it, and it kind of makes us feel like, oh, this area is actually bigger. We might, if we ever get to it, might actually add that in an update. That would be super cool.
Yeah,
I think the players will really enjoy that as well. What we would like.
We have someone in the chat saying that they count the Mage as 2 boss fights.
The Mage has 2 boss fights?
Oh, I like this one.
Ah, yes. Yeah, so if you hold that one down, you can actually.
Yeah. I was
like
just
this
trying
one.
to spam it fast to see if there was a limit.
Yeah, so if you spam, you can spam it pretty fast, and then it kind of explodes right in front of you, so it can go short range. But if you keep it pressed in, you can actually guide it with your little laser. You kind of follow your.
I think I actually like to drop the towers in the face of the crabs more than to actually shoot them. It's pretty satisfying, like BAM!
Especially with the crabs. With other enemies, they are slightly stronger. It still does a lot of damage, right? It's still like satisfying, and especially if they get up close, it gives you that extra little bit of ooh.
Yeah. Like, and I can imagine. I only have now the 3 powers. I can have up to 4, right? I don't know if there are. I imagine there are also passive powers because.
No, they're all active. So
What?
we have 30 different abilities. So you can, and of those 30, there's 3 movement abilities. So 1 for each class, right? Each playstyle, and you can mix and match all the other ones to your liking. But you're always restricted to 4, and each of them is their unique thing, right? There's no. There are no abilities that are like, this is the upgraded version of the other one. They're all their own little thing that have their own mechanic and their own specific way.
How hard was it to balance all of those abilities combining with each other?
It's a good thing that we're a single player game.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like for the most part, it's just playing with them, and we opted for. It's okay that one of them or some of them are more powerful. If they are fun to play with, then we usually have them a little bit of a cooldown so that you can't spam them, right? So kind of balance it in that way, and try to make sure that the damage amounts didn't go too extreme, right? Overall, that was kind of okay, right? And again, because we're not a multiplayer game or a competitive game, we don't really need to worry with that too much. As long as you can have fun with them and with interesting combinations with the other abilities.
Ouch!
Be careful.
Yeah, you could have warned me before it happened, not after. Okay. Well, people haven't seen what happens when you die, so I think
I think
a good experience.
I think you die, and then just reset. All right.
I was just close enough to get some tension going on, but not actually. If you have any, what tips would you give game developers that are also trying? Like they did some game development for other companies, like maybe contract work, or maybe they actually work for the company. Then they want to start their own company. They either have a good game or a good team that they want to put together. What can you tell is very important that you might have not thought about it when you started?
Um, I think the main thing is to make sure that you find the right people to work together with. Because if you start out, it's very rare that will have the resources to do it all on your own. So you need people to help you, financially at least. So I mean, you can do parts of it with contract work, but that won't cover all the costs. So getting finding a good publisher to work with, for example, can really help. Finding other partners that can want to invest in, and sharing your experience and your growth as a company can also really help. I think that's a big one. So that you can have the support to actually do what you need to do, because making games is expensive, right? It's a lot of hard work, and it's also like costs a lot of time and energy and resources. um, so I think, yeah, that is I think that is an important one to keep in mind.
So having a good networking and a good team behind you is very often overlooked. I get that answer a lot from developers, and
Yeah,
it's actually crazy that people don't think about that as much in the industry.
yeah. I mean, ideally it wouldn't be required, and you could do just everything just for the love and the passion, but unfortunately, that doesn't pay your bills and rent and all of that stuff. So yeah.
Uh, we have time for one last question, which is: are there plans for co-op in the future?
So for Trifox itself, unfortunately, no. It's just because we don't have the resources to do that, right? We wanted to do it. We wanted to do it so much, but we had to make a decision, and we had to opt for, okay, to not do it. But perhaps for whatever we do next, we are definitely taking it into account. But for Trifox, not likely.
Well, I think the game also it would be really hard to balance having another character in there. So probably it's better to have more single player content
Yeah.
than
Well,
taking
I
as
mean,
long.
at one point we had local, so you could play with two foxes. But yeah, we had to let that go, unfortunately. And it was kind of fun, but
Yeah, at some point, like it keeps expanding so much that it becomes hard to
yeah, and
tackle.
there's so much things that you then need to take into account, and indeed you need to take that into account of your level design as well to make it work well, and what happens if one goes off to the side and all of that stuff. And then, okay, do you want to have it local or also multiplayer online? And then if you say online, then it's you know it,
Yeah, then you
it,
need
it
more servers
Yeah,
and a lot of
yeah, but
net
also
code.
also just the implementation and everything, right? So everything. We have a lot of physics objects in our game, and then you need to make sure, okay, that these physics objects all sync correctly, and then everything, doesn't
Exactly,
get
lag
deviated.
compensation.
Yeah, and I mean, we did some tests with as well, but like we had like these boxes, and then it simulated on one PC and on the other it simulated as well. But as soon as the latency got too big, they started to get like discrepancies between the two, and it like, got all funky. So yeah, physics and multiplayer games. There's a reason why you don't see a lot of physics, I think, in multiplayer games. If you think
Yeah.
about it, there's not that many that actually do it.
Yeah, it's super. It adds a lot of extra burden.
Yeah,
So this was Trifox. Sadly, we didn't get to the boss. I should have been faster. Maybe next time we hire a speedrunner for the
yeah,
first three levels, and I just pretend that
yeah,
you can't see
yeah.
me on the
They
remote. Anyways, I can
they
pretend to
they
be
go
super
really
focused.
fast. They go
Do you
really
have
fast. Yeah.
any final words for our viewers?
Yeah, like, check out the game again. You can find it if you search for Trifox on Steam, GOG, the Epic Game Store, also on Switch. on Xbox and soon on PlayStation. You can also always reach out to us on Trifox Game on Twitter, or just join our Discord. It's just discord.gg/Trifox. We have a lot of excited and active people on there who like to talk about the game or just about other stuff as well. So you're always welcome to join us there. And
Yeah.
we'll gladly chat with you as well. Try to be as responsive and communicative as possible.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was an amazing time that I had here with Trifox and choosing it for and playing it for the final selections. A very well deserved finalist. We have
Yeah.
someone in the chat with a last request, which is to see that poster behind you. I don't know.
Yeah. This is an older one. We have a really cool new one, but I didn't have this is. This is like the old one. This is from Gamescom when we were at the Indie Arena booth and kind of whoop. So that was
It
actually
looks
above the
super cool.
booth, and we kind of took that with us
Awesome.
along the way.
So thank you again, and thanks for all the viewers. Just staying there. We're going to have a stream for the next game very soon.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye. Check out the game.
The common fox, one of nature's survivors, overcoming challenge and diversity with cunning, dexterity, and backpack miniguns. There's nothing common about this fox.
PlayStation